Hello! Welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a process video of a watercolor painting of some boats on a snowy shore. I did this sketch several months ago when I was trying out batching artwork and finally got around to painting it. Gotta say about the batching, it was actually really nice to have stuff already drawn and ready to paint for when I just wanted to paint, so do recommend that. I found this reference, I believe, on Pinterest, so, not really original, but I really liked the photo and thought it would be fun practice. And it was fun. Wow, excuse me. I found it to be quite challenging, but I went into it more mindfully than I have with any watercolor I have done any time recently. I really rushed the last one I did, and I went into this thinking I'm not going to do that because I wanted this to turn out nice. Yeah, so this is the sketching process sped up a little bit from many months ago, and then the painting time. I just want you to know that if you're watching this on the day that it comes out, it's my birthday. So if you are here watching, could you please give me a like and leave me a comment? If you're feeling super generous and you enjoy my work, please subscribe. And yeah, thank you. That would be really great. I watched some I forgot his last name. I will put a link in the video and the description. If you're interested in watercolor painting, his channel is wonderful. It's watercolor tutorials, and I found a lot of very helpful stuff. I've been watercoloring a long time on and off in my life, but there's always more to know. And so yeah, go check that out if you want some awesome watercolor tutorials. I definitely didn't fully accomplish what I set out to do. I am really pleased with this painting, but I definitely know where I could improve next time. And actually, I think that's a great thing, to go into it. It's great if you go into every piece of art just deciding that it's practice, because then the pressure is much less intense. But this one was actually definitely practice. But there are areas where I did not pay close enough attention, as you will find out. The thing is, painting snow is surprisingly difficult, at least for me. I really enjoy it. I think that it's really fun to capture winter in a painting, and somehow watercolor just does that really well, in my opinion. I started off with really light washes, started with the sky, of course, and one of Matthew's videos talked about going in first with all of your connecting midtones or shadows. I need to watch it again, but I had a really hard time with that because the large areas were not really connected as well as I would have liked, and they are in some places. I don't think that I did a great job with that in this painting necessarily, but I don't think I'm making any sense. But the idea basically was to connect large areas of shadow to one another to let the watercolor do its thing and bleed colors into the other color, which I really wanted to do. And you can kind of see that here with the boat, but I'm also trying to achieve texture. But the problem is and you're gonna see this, I went over some of the areas too many times. I go in very lightly, as these colors aren't dark enough and I'm not using enough paint, which I think was a big problem for this whole painting. I'm still trying to figure out what is enough paint and what isn't, and where I should be really light with it and where I should use a lot of pigment. Also, the constant struggle and learning curve for me of trying to figure out values constantly. Also, yeah, my table was shaking suddenly, and lo and behold... Hey! I have a visitor. Alright, that works. After Drew settled back down, I was able to continue painting. The joys of having a cat. But yeah, like I was saying, I really struggle with getting the right value and the right hue on my first go. And so this is something that, it's funny because I know that I need to keep it in mind, and then I just start painting and I zone out and I'm just in the groove, which is really great and everything. But I do need to figure out how to really be aware of that and pay attention as I go. I very intentionally slowed down for this painting. I did this painting, not including the sketching session from months ago. I did this painting in four rather short sessions. I don't think I painted for more than an hour at a time. Usually more like 40 minutes. I am trying to not burn myself out. And I have a lot of projects that I want to do. And so, you know, in the spirit of trying to do everything that I want to do, I'm trying not to rush anything finished. Like, I'm trying not to focus on just finishing stuff as fast as I can. That's not conducive to creating work that I'm proud of. So I'm just trying to slow down and not worry so much about how quickly I get it done, just that I get it done, but that I don't hate the process. So yeah, I didn't paint for more than an hour at a time, and I just let it be a nice experience instead of worrying about finishing it as quickly as possible. So this took me, I did this over a week, and I've been working on other things too. I just got hired for a big project that I'm kind of intimidated about. I will talk more about that in future, but I hopefully will be able to get a video out, but as I'm working on that, I don't know if I'll be able to get a video out every week. We will see. But yeah, I will talk about that at another time. It's gonna be pretty cool. But yeah, it's weird to be spending time intentionally trying to get videos out and do the work, but also to realize that I need the balance of just remembering that to have quality work, I also need to rest, and there's no need to rush, at least for someone in my position, for the most part, for stuff like this anyway. Like, obviously for a project where you have a deadline, that is different, but just for me, most of the stuff that I'm doing on this channel, I am doing because I want to enjoy art and finish art, and I didn't do that for a long time. So yeah, if you watched all my videos, you would know that, but it's totally cool if you haven't. Now you know. But anyways, back to the process here. That shadow in the background and the boat, I was trying to get the brown and the blue of the brown of the boat and the blue of the shadow to blend together and do the watercolor thing, but it didn't really, I didn't plan it very well. I didn't get the value of the shadow right, or the color really, and so it didn't work, and I end up, I believe, going over it again, and yeah, it's a whole process. Right here, I sped up this tree painting. I just wanted you to be able to see, like, how much, of the little marks I was making to get all the tiny little branches, but I didn't want it to take the whole, 25 minutes that it took me to do this. But I want you to know that it took me that long because, sped up footage is very deceptive, and, the whole thing here is if you slow down and think about what you're doing a little bit more, it'll end up working for you a lot better than if you go really fast. The interesting thing for me through this painting was that I was paying attention as I went, and actually stopping for a day or two between sessions. I was able to look at the painting with fresh eyes every day or two and see what I had done that I liked and what I had done that I was not particularly pleased with and that I could improve upon. And so that was actually really great for me because it just helped me be more aware of everything, and it made the learning as I go a lot easier than just if I had done it in one session, for example. I don't think I would have gotten as much out of it. But yeah, this particular pass on these shadows on this bigger boat, the value was too dark. It's the wrong hue and it's the wrong value. Again. But I do go through, the nice thing about watercolor is that you can, to some degree, you can lift the paint, and I am very, very grateful for that. This is why people who paint with acrylic just kind of amaze me, and I say that as someone who's about to have to paint with acrylic for this thing that I've been hired to do. So, please wish me luck. I'm going to need it. Right. Wow, I don't know what's happening with my voice. I am so sorry. But yeah, right here, I swiped my brush really fast right here, and I started to get a little bit of that dry brush effect, and I really liked it, and I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. So I do use that more as I go forward. Again, the slower painting process for me for this one, I ended up learning a lot and just sort of remembering maybe the things that I maybe used to do when I painted more once upon a time. It's not like I was some prolific watercolor painter. That is not a thing that I was. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I learned a lot with this painting, and I am really proud of that, and that I could go in intentionally and get something out of it. I was very determined with the side of this boat to get it not exactly how it looks in the photo reference, but to get it the same vibe, I guess, because I really liked the color transitions in the old wood and just the texture in it all. So I actually do end up being really proud of it. And see here, I'm going in with enough pigment on my brush for once, but I do feel like I didn't use enough water to get the colors of the shadows, the browner shadow nearer the boat and the blue shadow on the snow, to blend the way that I wanted them to. And the problem here is that I live in the middle of a desert. The suburban areas and city areas of Utah look very lush, but it's all cultivated, and personally I think that we need to be more water-wise with our planting. But anyway, the air is very dry where I live, and so even when I pre-wet the paper, it dries so fast. And so I'm trying, if anyone has any tips on how to deal with really dry air when you're watercolor painting, let me know. Yeah, also, I would really like to try Matthew's. He wets the paper on both sides and doesn't tape it down to paint, and I would like to try that sometime. Here, I go over this shadow that I used the wrong hue for, that was too dark, with a lighter blue. And then with this one, I decided that it was too dark as well, and I go in with the paper towel and water and lift off some of the paint. And I actually end up liking it a lot better. It still doesn't look quite right to me, but it is improved. And then, yeah, here I'm just adding some more snow shadows, etc. With that little bit of dry side brush. I did get this shadow looking better. And I actually go over it after I thought I was done, but I'll get to that later. I wanted to add some grass. I didn't go into this doing exactly what was on the reference photo. I just kind of decided where I wanted it and put it in where I thought it would look nice. This boat was such a weird angle for me. Like, drawing boats is weird. They're curved shapes in perspective is a slight challenge for me, but I feel really happy with it. I'm starting to add the detail in some places, and it's so fun because when you start adding the details in a watercolor painting, it really starts to come to life. And it's like the last 5% are those details, and yet they're the things that really, really bring a painting to life, and they do the heavy lifting. So yeah, the side of this boat had really deep blues hidden in it. And these warm ochre yellows, and even some green, like teal tints, and some darker browns. And I really wanted to capture that. I thought the colors looked really nice together. And so I went in really with the intention of doing my best to figure out how to make it look the way that it did, or close to it in the photo. And using paper towels to lift off to get some of that texture too. The shadow of the bow of this boat looks so weird right here. So I want you to pay attention to that shadow when you see it, because I do fix it later at the very end. I'm really pleased with this tree, and I feel like with this painting, I actually really started to paint branches in a way that I was pleased with, whereas before, in the last painting I did and before this, it was something that I really rushed. And so I'm quite proud of myself for slowing that down and for doing a job of that I'm much more proud of than I have ever before. Finally starting to add the details to this boat, and yeah, I was so happy right here. I was like, oh, this is really working. Like, this looks really good, and I'm excited about it. I'm still excited about it. Yeah, and then when I started to use the side of the tip of the brush right here, and to kind of get this effect underneath the rim of each plank of wood, it turned out really, really how I wanted it to. So that was cool. Right here, yay, tape peel. A little bit of that. But see how the shadow looks kind of weirdly bright, and also just the angle looks weird, and the shadow on the side of the boat looks like it's solid instead of a shadow. Yeah, very odd. So I left this for a couple days, something I think everyone should do if they can. Leave your drawing or your painting a couple days so that you can go back and look at it even if you think it's done, because there might be something you want to fix. And so I did. So here it is before, and then I spent a little bit of time fixing that, and I am so much happier with how that looks. See, it looks much more natural to me, and I'm much happier with that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Please leave me a comment for my birthday, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!